to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Here to talk all things hockey are your hosts, Brad Crisco, Ryan Hanna, and Evan Lobsinger.
It's a good year to be bad.
It's an excellent year to be bad.
The Hlinka Gretzky Cup definitely made me feel better about the impending implosion of the Detroit Red Wings.
It's not an implosion.
No, we're already there, actually.
What do you mean implosion?
It's just
This is part of the plan, Brad. No, we knew this.
the implosion is the plan.
This is what, year 5 of this team performing exactly how expectations are, or it should be at least. We're seasoned vets. There's no implosion. We know what's to come. It's not going to be all woe and sadness. Last year was our year of, okay, we knew we were going to be bad, but this is still tough. This year, we're going to weather the storm. There's going to be silver linings. There's going to be Larkins and Zadinas and maybe even some Veleno mixed in there.
It's going to be a full year of people wondering aloud if we're going to pick a goalie at number 4.
Yeah, maybe.
And I might not hate it, given the way Askarov has played the last year.
I mean, we're going to talk about our depth chart a little bit
not
later.
my choice, but I wouldn't hate it because, oh my God, he just won Russia a gold medal.
Yeah, Askarov is like, people were saying Askarov rivals Knight in terms of, I think he's going to blow way past it in terms of like pre-draft hype, draft position, provided nothing goes terribly wrong this season.
Craig Button isn't for everyone, but he's on record saying Askarov's the best goalie prospect since Carey Price.
Ooh. Who got drafted first, Fleury or Price? Fleury. Yeah,
Fleury was
before,
drafted
right?
2 years before Carey Price.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. I'm Ryan Hanna.
I'm Brad Crisco.
I am hungover.
Hey, that's good. That means you're here at least.
Yes.
Evan, we were planning the episode and we were mapping out the time, and Evan goes, I don't know, I'm going to be really hungover. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's an improvement. That's at least here. So what time are you going to be passably hungover?
I don't know.
We actually did.
We're still getting
I
there.
don't know.
The fun fact is, Evan didn't actually agree on any time. We just kind of told him when it was going to be.
Yeah,
You made
I couldn't confirm anything.
When you lived in your old place, I'm not sure if you would have made it, but this is only like, what, a 5-6 minute drive for you?
Yes, if I get the lights.
To the podcast headquarters. There was someone today doing 30 and a 60 in front of me.
Yeah, that is KW has the worst drivers in the world.
Oh, God.
Confirmed.
As someone who drove for 4 days in Montreal not that long ago, you are wrong.
You're still like...
I'm so angry at that city still.
Well, guess who's got to do it again soon?
Brad, we have flights and a hotel booked.
Yes, and we will be walking and Ubering everywhere next time, and that is much better. And we also will not be leaving Old Montreal and downtown Montreal, and that will be better.
Amazing. On this episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast, in the thick of the offseason, we are going to be talking about a few relevant Red Wings stories. Nicholas Kronwall had an interesting Swedish interview come out recently, so we'll talk about what that means for him, and then dive into a little bit about what that means for the depth chart in Detroit and Grand Rapids. So it's a little bit of an interesting topic. It's a sticky one. You guys are going to get mad at us for sure, but what else is new? Dylan Larkin. I mean, that goes without saying what we're going to be talking about there. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about the Hlinka, stuff around the league, and then maybe some prospect and player profiles before getting into overtime. All right, Nick Kronwall had I believe it was like a Swedish interview.
Yeah, it was confusing, especially since his answers weren't Finnish, but translated either way.
Basically, he's talked about how he's felt good this offseason. He got some good rest, and he's switched up his off-season training and recovery technique, so a lot less high impact weights and a lot more explosiveness training in like water and stuff that's a little bit easier on his joints.
Is that what we're calling swimming these days?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how he described it. So
I know what it is. I'm just being facetious.
Can you spell facetious?
F-E-C.
No.
Facetious.
No. I think I've asked you to spell it before too, and I think you got it right. So maybe you just haven't had oh, you don't drink coffee. Never mind. Oh, slight aside. Remember when someone asked us that 5 fingers, each finger is a drink question?
Yeah.
I didn't say coffee.
Well, you're doomed now, buddy. You ruined it.
God, I have to drink Coca-Cola for caffeine for the rest of my life. As if my teeth weren't bad enough. Anyhow, Nick Kronwall talked a little bit about his plans on maybe coming back this year. He acknowledged what Yzerman said, where he said it's nice that Yzerman said I could have a spot if I want to come back this year. We chatted about that in the past. I mean, feelings on Cronwall's side, it is. I do take Eisman at his word when he says that. But up until this point, it seemed pretty solid that Cronwall wasn't going to be back. Chatted with some people who are familiar with the organization, some people, in the organization, and the general vibe has been that Cronwall doesn't seem like he's going to come back. No one had a definitive answer, so it's not like someone's sitting on an answer here and they're just waiting to announce it, which is why there's so much uncertainty surrounding his potential return. But yeah, up until like earlier this week, no one really would have guessed that he was going to make it back. But this interview has kind of thrown everyone for a loop. The fact that he's feeling good, the fact that he feels like he's recovering better, and that he can, maybe muster out another year, and he has that kind of open ticket. So if he wants it, it's his. I don't know. I think it's possible now.
I think it's likely now. And I'm not going to say bringing Cronwall back would be a mistake, because it's not. He's better than at least half the defensemen the Red Wings would otherwise deploy on defense. So I can't say he'd be a downgrade on many players. But as some of you saw when I was bored at lunch at work earlier this week, I just threw together a visualization of a depth chart just so I had something myself to quickly reference as I needed and can update as the year goes on. However bad you think the logjam of defense on this, I'm not even say logjam of defense, logjam of mediocre defense on this team is, it's worse. Just looking at the left side alone, which is where Cronwall would play, and I'll throw Trevor Daley to the right side just because you'd have to. DeKeyser, Nemeth, Cholowski, Eriksson, Cronwall, Hicketts, Lashoff. Hicketts is no longer waiver eligible. Eriksson's no longer an NHL player. Dennis Cholowski is no longer needed in the AHL. And yet 2 of those 3 are almost certainly going to be sent down. It won't be Eriksson, so take that for what it is.
Nah.
So, yeah, it's basically right now, here's the overall view. Not to get too wordy here, but if the Red Wings went with 8 defensemen and 13 forwards on the active roster, so essentially healthy scratching 2D, 1 forward every night, the projected 8 defensemen on the Red Wings would be DeKeyser, Hronek, Nemeth, Green, Cronwall, Bowie, Eriksson, Daley. Which means Cholowski, Hicketts, Kasky all go to Grand Rapids. And then in Grand Rapids, you'd have Cholowski, Kasky, Hicketts, Lindstrom. Well, I'm not even going to say Hicketts because he wouldn't clear. Lashoff, Saarijarvi, and McElrath. So if Cronwall comes back and the Red Wings unload nobody, Vili Saarijarvi is primed to be a healthy scratch in Grand Rapids. Dennis Cholowski is primed to spend the entire year in the AHL until there's an injury. Madison Bowie probably doesn't play a game up until January. And Jonathan Eriksson and Trevor Daley will rotate healthy scratches.
Okay, so all of this is assuming health.
This is all assuming health, yes.
Eriksson, Daley, Green are all notoriously injured.
Yeah, they will not stay healthy for the full year.
I give it 10, 15 games throughout the whole season where all 3 of those are healthy. And that's, assuming no one else is injured as well.
And when one of them goes down, the Red Wings still have a big problem with this logjam.
I can't imagine Cronwall will play back-to-backs.
We said that last year, and I think he played all 82, didn't he?
God damn it.
McElrath, why wouldn't he be the healthy scratch over Saarijarvi?
Because the only 2 air quotations veterans Grand Rapids has for this year right now is Lashoff and McElrath.
Does that really matter so much?
To Detroit, yes. Would I say to other teams? No, absolutely not. But again, it's the biggest problem with this logjam isn't coming in December. It's coming October 5th or whatever the cutoff date is. October 5th is the first game. Because they just signed Joe Hicketts, who I think most of the fan base agrees is a good bottom pairing NHL option. He's not going to be the game changer. He's not going to be the story changer for the Red Wings. But he's a better, younger option than a lot of on the roster. And if they don't clear something up, he's gone.
Why don't... Madison Bowie wasn't an Yzerman acquisition. I think he's pretty... He has a lot more fluidity in terms of how you can use him. If you want to not play him, you can do that. If you want to try and move him for a piece, you could probably get a piece for him. Or even if you just need to clear up a spot, that's a guy that you can just send out into waivers and have him be claimed, most likely. a lot of fans won't like that. I know a lot of people are still holding out that Madison Bowey might still be something. I'm not. You're right when we've had this conversation umpteen times now, where you say Madison Bowey you would rather have Madison Bowey in the bottom pair than Eriksson or Daly, and I agree, but it's just not the reality that we're working with.
But the thing is, though, it can be the reality. This is going to be kind of my first real impression of Yzerman as Red Wings GM with hard decisions, because you can no longer use the argument, at least the Red Wings can't, that you need Eriksson or Daly for veteran presence on the blue line, because you have Green, you have Nemeth, you have DeKeyser. That's half your defense. Bowey's played a full NHL season now. Hronek's gotten close, I assume. And Cronwall will be there then, assuming. So they don't need them for anything at this point. They're not good players. They were, statistically speaking, 2 of the bottom 5 defensemen in the NHL last year?
Yeah.
According to a bunch of metrics, not even one.
Two. It was like Dom's and someone else's. Eriksson and Daly featured heavily on the worst defensemen.
Bottom 5, bottom 10 on both lists.
Yeah.
There is no reason for them to be on this roster anymore. And you're right with your argument about, is Green and DeKeyser and all them going to stay healthy this year? No, absolutely not. But here's the problem. We're talking about depth. You can't tell me at this point that Kasky, Bowey, Hicketts, Lashoff, Malkaroth can't plug in just as effectively.
Okay, this is what I think the realistic scenario is. Yzerman started the offseason. He's new to the organization for all intents and purposes. He's familiar with Cronwall as a person, respects his tenure on the team, and he sees the outlook for this team for the next 2 to 3 seasons at least.
Played with Cronwall for 2 years, too, I believe, yeah.
And he sees the outlook for this team, and he says, this team isn't winning anything. He essentially says as much in his first 5 pressers, just to set the expectation. So he says, all right, here's what I have to prepare for. There's going to be a defensive logjam. It's not a pretty defensive core, so any tough decision I have to make is going to be an Alexei Marchenko level impact. It's not really going to be terrible. At worst, I have to keep a young guy down a little bit more than I want to. I have to sign Patrick Nemeth because I need someone to fill that gap, in all likelihood, because Cronwall probably won't be back. Now, that doesn't mean I'm closing the door on Cronwall, but I have to plan for if he's not there. And not only that, Patrick Nemeth is more capable by all rights than nearly every other defenseman we have on the roster. So he's not moving the needle so much where we're going to be winning games and moving out of a lottery position, but he's at least providing some support for a top 4 defensive group. A top 4 defensive, not that Detroit has a top 4 defensive group.
Hey, you could argue very much now that DeKeyser, Hronek, and Green could be top 4 defensemen on other teams. They wouldn't be top pairing, and 2 of them are going to be top pairing guys, so that's the problem. But
so he said that's my plan. Now I'm going to sleep at night and I'm thinking, man, if Cronwall comes back, what do I have to do? It's going to be painful. But the reality is, players will be injured, and the toughest decisions that I'll have to make are possibly losing Joe Hicketts to waivers and maybe keeping Dennis Cholowski down for more of the year than I wanted to.
Keeping Dennis Cholowski in the AHL this year for longer than I wanted to is acceptable. Not ideal, not what I would like, but fine. It's not a game breaker. But when you lose a valuable player, whether it's as an AHL depth or a bottom pairing in the NHL like Joe Hicketts, for no other reason than to just ride out the last year of Eriksson and Daly's contracts, it's minor. I agree with you, but it's still inexcusable to me.
I think it's pretty excusable. This is a GM who's inheriting a team where he's locked into all of these deals. He has no incentive to win right now, and all of these guys are gone in 12 months. 12 months.
That's exactly my point. If Jonathan Eriksson was younger and in the middle of his awful contract right now, I wouldn't agree with it, but I could hear the case then of why you lose to Joe Hicketts, because you're stuck with Jonathan Eriksson for 3-4 more years no matter what. Him and Daly are gone after this season. There is almost no downside to waiving them, trading them for almost literally nothing. I think someone would take Daly for a conditional 7th, honestly. There's teams that need depth, and he's not good, but the NHL hasn't fully realized this yet, as certain articles written recently have proven. Mm-hmm. But it makes no sense to me, because Detroit won't be able to keep Hicketts, even keeping 8 defensemen on this roster. And I agree with you. I think this is what's going to happen. I think we are going to see DeKeyser, Hronek, Nemeth, Green, Cronwall, Bowey, Eriksson, Daly as the 8 on the roster come October 5th. I'm almost positive that's what's going to happen unless there's an injury in preseason.
Right.
So that means we lose Hicketts because I can see a world he doesn't get claimed on waivers, but I wouldn't bet on it.
I would say there's a 40% chance he gets claimed every time they try to put him through waivers. That's where I have it at in my head.
I put it over 50, not much over 50. I'd say 60 to 70.
So here's the thing. I don't like the idea of losing Hicketts either, but remove Hicketts, the idea, like our connection to Hicketts from the player. That is a replaceable amount of talent. It's not that he's not valuable. I think he's valuable, and in a perfect world, he would be the number 6, number 7 guy on this team right now. But if they lose him, it's not great. It sucks, but it's replaceable.
Yeah, it's not great. He's, like you said, he's a replacement level player, but do you know who's below replacement level player? 2 to 3 players ahead of him on the depth chart right now.
Honestly, I would prefer to ride those guys out instead of buying them out.
You don't even need to buy them out. We don't need cap space this year. You simply waive them and eat the full cap hit this season.
Oh, I would love to do that, but I think the amount of roster control, like a lot of roster control, this might not be pretty for some fans to hear, still lays with Jeff Blashill, and Jeff Blashill will never agree to waive these guys.
Oh, I agree 110%.
Yeah.
Like, again, I don't...
If we're bringing
Everything I'm saying right now, I do not think is going to happen. I think your reality is going to be the reality that comes true. But it's just...
If we're bringing waivers into play, I would love to do it. It's just we're so jaded to the idea of like waiving an aging veteran, or like we're so away from that because it just will never happen with this team. Although, how impressed would we be if Yzerman made that decision and forced that?
No, and that's the only reason I'm even bringing this up, because if this were still Holland, as much as I defended Holland in his last year for finally accepting the rebuild, this is the part of the rebuild he never accepted, and I wouldn't even entertain this as an idea. We would not be having this conversation. Just because it's Yzerman, it's worth bringing up because it might happen.
Yes. Now, dumb, stupid Ryan is going to talk for a second. Stupid tinfoil hat theory Ryan is going to talk for a second.
We're trading Cholowski.
No, that would be too stupid.
Guess who just asked for a trade 47 minutes ago?
Dennis Cholowski.
Rasmus Ristolainen.
He requested a trade.
Yeah.
Detroit needs to avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, but he's been... With all the moves Buffalo's been making, someone had to go. Ristolainen's a funny one because he's a lot of GMs love him. Like, he's kind of a hockey coach's player. But a lot of like the analytics community really is down on Ristolainen.
He plays a bajillion minutes a night.
Yeah.
On a bad team.
He's going to be just get ready now for the arguments of, is he bad because of the team or is he just bad? I could see an argument for both, but when I watch Ristolainen, he's almost the definition of all the tools, none of the toolbox.
Yeah, no, not Dennis Cholowski. He didn't request a trade, but here's my tinfoil hat, and I brought this up before.
Ristolainen and DeKaiser top pairing.
Stop it. Stop that now. That's Ken Holland speaking. Get out.
Get ready for a month and a half of it until he's traded, buddy.
Get out. Oh, God, I can already... The Twitter notifications are already coming.
He will cost more than he's worth, and he will not be an improvement on anybody on this roster. Well, okay, not anybody, but not on the top pairing.
Okay, so Yzerman understands all these painful things to come, these tough decisions that we just talked about. A small part of him, and this is tinfoil hat me, this isn't what I would actively go out and, bet money on, but a small part of him may be thinking, all right, I'm going to keep these aging veterans up. It's going to suck for the team. We're going to take some hits in terms of development time, whatever, and we are going to be god-awful and have the best chance for Alexis Lafreniere. I think, no, I shouldn't say I think, but a lot of these moves could be... Yzerman inherited a team that's still handcuffed. Just because we changed the GM doesn't remove all of the holds, cement blocks and rock bottoms that this team is dealing with. Yzerman's probably coming in saying, all right, I'll wait it out. What else am I supposed to do? Move the needle a little bit so we move, from bottom 5 to bottom 10? What's the point of that? Why don't I just go for a Lafreniere, a Holtz, a Raymond? These contracts are here. I can't move them. I could waive them. Or I could just ride it out. Bring players up as injuries warrant, and other than that, if we suck, we suck. It is what it is. And he's braced the fan base to suck for the next little while. So what incentive does he have to suck mildly less now when that's not what matters? What matters is coming out of this rebuild in 2 to 3 years and having a chance to actually compete. When this team is competing in a playoff spot, no one's going to be saying, "Oh man, year one of the Yzerman rebuild was so excellent. We were 21st in the league instead of 29th." What they're going to be thinking is, "Man, who are we playing in the first round of the playoffs? This rebuild was so long. We're so pumped to get back to the postseason." Right? Like, again, I don't think any GM will actually come and outright say that I'm tanking. He's probably not even calling that in his head. He's just doing a little bit of a cost benefit maybe and thinking, why am I going to twist sideways to try and make us a little better now when it's actually beneficial to kind of suck for a little bit.
He just watched a week of Lafreniere and Raymond and Holtz, and then another week of Byfield, Perfetti, Drysdale, and he's like, you know what? Yes, please.
Yeah. The only Twitter hashtags that were trending more than like Vault the Mech from Fortnite and anything about Epstein was Perfetti.
Goal Perfetti.
Yeah, goal Perfetti. All over Twitter. That was my entire feed. I'm like, how many times has this guy scored? Oh, yeah, a lot.
Cole, literally Jonathan Tays Perfetti.
Yeah.
When was the last time someone scored 3 shootout goals and 1 shootout to win it?
I apologize to both of you now because I hope you know every single overtime question, comment, and Twitter mention that we have for the next 6 months is going to be their opinion on the concept of tanking. Because it's a new GM, we're going to have the tanking argument all over again. It's going to suck.
Here's why we're not going to have that conversation or that argument. The Red Wings couldn't do anything but tank with this roster if they wanted to.
I think away some guys and just tank a little less hard. Mildly less hard tank.
Yeah, but depending on the guys they waive, that might tank more harder.
Tank 2, tank more harderer.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Tank 2, the retankening.
Yeah, so the defensive depth chart, like you were explaining all that to me, and you're right. There's a logjam. This is going to be some painful moves. But you know what I see? A bunch of Alexei Marchenkos. That's all it is, up and down. Any impact guy or any guy that this team should be hopeful for 2 to 3 years out from now is not going anywhere. Just in the meantime, it's just shuffling around Alexei Marchenkos. And I'm sorry to, and this is for listeners.
Kasky and Lindstrom are upset.
Yeah, well, whatever.
I agree, Marchenkos, but still, I'm not as big on Lindstrom as everybody else. But
that's the thing. Right now, you're not, and I think you're justified in feeling that way. But
I'm hoping a big year in Grand Rapids will change that for me.
And that's exactly it. This isn't his time to be involved in that. But Lindstrom is removed from it because he can have a big year in Grand Rapids.
But you know why Lindstrom might be relevant for this is because he might not have the opportunity to have a big year in Grand Rapids because he might be playing 11 minutes a night on the bottom pairing.
I think Vili Saarijarvi factors into this, and
I don't even as it's constructed. Saarijarvi doesn't play this year.
We'll chat. We'll chat later when we chat about
your
the Saarijarvi
three right D
profile.
right now are probably Kasky, McElrath, Lindstrom.
They'll flip them. They'll flip them to the other sides. Dylan Larkin did an interview where he said that he felt ready for the captaincy.
Correct. Next topic.
We do this a lot.
Justin Abdicator says, what?
Okay, I don't think it'll factor in, and I think Cronwall would actively, because he's a very classy, respectable veteran in this league. But just to have the conversation, if Cronwall comes back, does that affect Larkin getting the C at all?
Okay, let me ask you a question before I answer that. Who do you think has the ultimate decision on who gets the captaincy, Blashill or Yzerman?
Ultimate decision? Yzerman. He'll never say it, but I think it...
Then no, it doesn't affect Larkin getting the C.
Now, do you think it's possible that Blashill holds the power? If Blashill went to Yzerman and said, look, I know you want to give it to Larkin, but I really don't think it's right to pass over Cronwall. Let's give it to Cronwall for his final season. What do you think Yzerman would say to that?
Who are you and why are you in my office?
Oh, you're the coach? Oh, geez. Good. I never noticed that.
Okay,
My
we'll
bad.
do something about that. I think if Blashill, it was a hill he's willing to die on, I don't think Yzerman's going to push that hard. But
this team doesn't do one-year captains, though.
No, that's the reason I don't think Cronwall would actually get it. Either way, because it's you don't give a guy a C for 1 year. And if they were going to give Cronwall the captain, that year has come and gone. If they gave it to him last year and he wrote it up for 2 years, fine, I'd have no problem with it. But they missed the boat because they decided to just run out a bunch of assistants for some reason, which, by the way, I hate every single time a team does that. So yeah, like how do the Leafs not have a captain yet? It's not like they're short on candidates.
Well, I mean, Mitch Marner's not signed, right?
Oh,
It's just Morgan Riley. They're just waiting to give it to Morgan Riley. That's
John
all.
Tavares, Austin Matthews. Like, pick one. Give it to Zach effing Hyman for all I care. Just pick someone, Babcock. The entire hockey world hates you right now, and I'm here for it, honestly.
Oh, that reminds me. Evan, I'm going to send you screenshots of 2 different teams. And this was for our Patreon exclusive episode. So
okay, yeah.
Brad and I did a mock draft.
Yeah.
And we, excluding ELCs because those are cheating, we went one, like, back and forth, one each. And, I just read your... I just read your message on Messenger. Just pooping out the poison, then I'll be on my way. We selected one player each, or not one player each. We took turns selecting players to make the best cap-compliant team possible. So I'm going to send you both. I'm not going to tell you whose or whose, unless you already have looked or listened.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah,
you're funny.
So you read through these, and as we continue the episode, I want you to tell us which team you would prefer to have.
Okay.
Now, I'm pretty confident in the choice. I actually would probably pick against myself, but I want to see what you say. Yeah, so if Cronwall comes back, and if the decision lays with Blashill and ultimately with Yzerman to make the final call, here's what I can see happening. They know it's going to be Larkin. They talk to Larkin and say, it will be you. But look, Cronwall came back. Let's at least offer it to him. Larkin will say, yeah, obviously. They offer it to Cronwall. Cronwall says, no, appreciate it, thank you. Larks, this is all yours. That's what I think would happen. I don't think it'll factor
in all likelihood.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with this team, who the hell knows?
I know which team is Brad's.
Which one is Brad's?
Brad's the, like, Rain Man Moneyball team.
Which one's that?
The Nathan McKinnon team.
Yeah? So which one would you want more?
I'm not done reading it.
Okay, keep reading. Yeah, so we brought attention to that point not because we think it's anything relevant, but just because people are going to be talking about it.
This is Brad's team.
All right.
Is it Brad's team?
Well, you have to tell. Will you make your decision, and at the end, we'll
You
reveal
cannot
all.
have any bias in who you think would actually win in a game of hockey between those two teams.
Yeah.
I need to remember how to read.
We're getting there, buddy.
He's like, I'm seeing 3 teams right now. I'm confused.
Why is Jonathan Taves playing defense? Oh, it's Devin Taves.
I thought that was a joke at first. Yeah, for any of you who are wondering why we go down to one episode a week in the offseason, it's because we take turns driving Evan to the Sylvan Reading Center.
It's true.
The math whiz, but really can't read at all.
Nope.
And I can't speak, so it works.
Yep.
Brad, how did you end up being the capable one out of that whole bit?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. That's enough talk about things that really don't deserve more attention than the first 30 minutes of an episode.
Yeah. We can only get that much length out of those topics in the offseason.
The Ivan Hlinka Gretzky tournament. Jesus. All right.
Permanent.
All right, I made my decision.
Okay.
It's the Connor McDavid team.
Thank you, Evan.
Wow, that was not your team?
No, I had the Moneyball team. I got...
Wow,
Yeah.
I was completely wrong.
First overall pick, Sidney Crosby. Third overall pick, Connor McDavid. I think I took Gibson fourth.
Who'd you take first?
McKinnon.
Okay, I mean, yeah. Okay.
I took McKinnon, and then so before we started, Brad said...
Wait, nobody had Ovechkin, eh?
No, it was... I took
Yeah.
You just have to consider value at that point, right?
I took Crosby McDavid just to get the superstars, and then I had to moneyball the shit out of it from there.
I mean, your center depth is
Unreal.
insane.
Dude, I took Mark Shifley was my second last pick because I had enough cap space
Because
left.
we were both just waiting to see if we had the cap space for Mark Scheifele, and you did, and I didn't. We so before we started, Brad said we're snaking. Like if you draft first and I draft second and third, or if like because there's 3 guys and there's no way I'm letting you get away with 2 of them. I was like, no, there's no point snaking with 2 people. That's dumb. Let's just go 1-2, 1-2. And Brad's eyes lit up, and then he ended up getting first overall pick.
Thank you.
And
rock,
then
paper, scissors.
And then I went. He took Crosby, and I was like, all right, I'll take McKinnon because I don't think he'll take McDavid next. And he goes, McDavid. I went. I see.
Damn it.
I see now why he wanted to. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I told you within 2 to 3 picks, my strategy would be abundantly clear.
But where I really think I really like my center depth, but where I really think that he excelled was grabbing Gibson. Gibson at that value
Yeah, your
was nuts.
goaltenders. I mean, UC Saros is good, but
Yeah, that was Moneyball pick.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't patrons, we'll post these teams, not the episode, but we'll post the teams on Twitter for you guys to look at in a little while. We're going to let that brew a little bit with our patrons.
Your goaltending dollars are 1/5 Bobrovsky's.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, they are. Thank you for noticing. It got to the point where I took like Brandon Peary and Brad was like, no, damn it.
The Patreon episode is worth listening to just for Ryan's reaction when I took Kevin LeBanc like 5th overall.
I was so mad at you. I keep thinking about that and I keep getting more angry. The more I think about Kevin LeBanc, the angrier I get. And what I'll say outwardly is because, the players should get what they're worth and you're screwing over your colleagues, Kevin, and this loyalty won't buy you anything. It'll just cost you dollars. But really what I'm mad about is my mock draft where he's screwed me over with that.
The Kadri pick was good too by Brad.
Yeah, Kadri pick was good.
Was that my last pick or second last pick?
It was late. It was a very late.
At the bottom of your depth chart.
No, because I had to take my backup goalie with the last pick, I believe.
So Brad was behind me. He had less cap space than me the whole time, and so I was like, I wasn't worried about him taking guys like Kadri, and then he took a bunch of great value picks all in a row.
Josh Anderson, LeBanc, yeah,
Kevin LeBanc. This is a glass table, and I'm going to punch through it. The Hlinka tournament.
It was a fun episode.
It was a fun episode. We did that with zero. I was literally able to drive from Windsor to Waterloo, and Brad said, "Why don't we do this for our Patreon exclusive? It's been asked for." I was like, "Oh shoot!" It's like I've done no prep, and the whole drive up, I still did no prep. I listened to audiobooks, and then we sat down, and our prep was 2 minutes of me going, It was fun. Please talk to us about the Hlinka tournament while I get myself organized.
This draft is real good. So, unfortunately, due to it being in Europe, we couldn't watch it in as much detail as we wanted because, we work. Mm-hmm. But the bits and pieces I did catch, the top end of this draft is really good. So the World Junior Summer Showcase, which was 2 weeks ago, which we already talked about, just proved to us how good Alexis Lafreniere, Lucas Raymond, and Alex Holtz are. Holtz and Raymond did not play in the Hlinka because of the Summer Showcase, and their pro seasons are starting in Europe. Lafreniere because he's a late birthday and too old. But this was a great opportunity to see some other potential top 10 picks, like Yaroslav Askarov, the Russian goalie, Cole Perfetti, Quinton Byfield, the Canada forwards, Jamie Drysdale, the Canadian defenseman, and none of them disappointed. Quinton Byfield, to me, I didn't get to watch a ton of him in Sudbury last year. I caught a bit, but he was a 16-year-old, so as good of a season as he had, you could tell he was very limited in a bunch of ways. So this, and when you see a prospect who's really strong and much bigger than his opponents, you get worried that it might just be a case of Lawson Krause syndrome. He was good because he was bigger and stronger.
Right.
That is not the case with Quinton Byfield.
Yeah, he's sick.
He is unreal. Scored a American Malik tweener. Made a bunch of other skill plays. Had a ridiculous assist in the first game. Behind the back spinorama to a forward who was streaking through the slot, not even stationary. He real good.
Yeah, that highlight of him in front of the net, that move was so natural. He planned on doing it.
Yeah,
he looked at the puck and said, "Yeah, I'm going to do this," and just slid it between it. It was nuts.
And now also prepare for a full year of heated arguments between the eye test and the analytics on one prospect in particular, Cole Perfetti. Because when you sit down and watch Cole Perfetti play hockey, there is absolutely nothing about his game that jumps out at you. The word dynamic does not come to mind with Cole Perfetti like it does with Quinton Byfield. He's not very big. He's not particularly fast, and his shot's good, but I wouldn't say it's overpowering. But he just had the single highest scoring tournament in Hlinka Gretzky Cup history. He had 12 points in 5 games, plus scoring 3 shootout goals in 1 shootout to win it. He is the definition of a player who just gets it. He is always in the right spot, always makes the right play, knows how to take advantage of defensemen and goaltenders' weaknesses. And now where he does excel is his hands are exceptionally quick, his brain is exceptionally quick, and his shot is well above average. So you combine those things together and you get a very smart player. I actually struggle to find an NHL comparable for Cole Perfetti. I honestly, truly do. The best one I've been able to come up with so far is Scheifele, but Scheifele's a center and Perfetti's a winger, so not a perfect comparison. But just in the type of, they don't really blow you away with their skill, but then when you actually watch the details, they're way more skilled than you realize. So like I said, prepare a full year of the eye test versus the results.
Do you have, all too early question, do you have Cole Perfetti right now in your top 5?
I actually put together my preliminary, started piecing together my rankings list. I think I got up to the high teens before I didn't have enough information to keep ranking. So I do not remember where I put Perfetti. Let me check.
I have him not.
As of right now, I have him at number 5.
I was going to say I have him 5 or 6. I switch between 5 and 6.
Okay, so my real quick top 10, which obviously is going to change a whole bunch of times as the year goes on and we watch him more. I've got Lafreniere, Raymond, Byfield, Holtz, Perfetti, Lapierre, Drysdale, Askarov, Rossi, Lundell.
Oh, wow. Our top 5 is almost... You have Lundell that low, huh?
Not as big on him as everybody else. But again, it's kind of, I'm arguing against myself because I don't see anything dynamic with him either. But he also hasn't put up the numbers Perfetti has, so...
Lafreniere, Raymond, Byfield, Holtz, Lundell, Perfetti.
Okay, so you have Perfetti 6.
Yeah,
I think Askarov, I'm gonna. He's gonna bump up. Because I put these together after the semifinals. No, after the round robin. So yeah, I don't know how you can keep Askarov out of the top 5 if he continues this. Not that I would pick a goalie in the top 5, but if we're just going on straight up talent, oh man, he's gonna make a case.
Yeah, so if you guys hated everything we talked about with this window of competition being at least 2 years away for Detroit, silver linings. This is a hell of a year to suck.
Yeah.
It's a good... it does not suck to suck this year. You know how we always say sucks to suck? It does not suck to suck this year. We cannot use that phrase at all for the next 12 months.
Like, because the draft that just passed, I really liked the last draft all the way up until the mid-20s. Like, legitimately, really liked almost every player I put in that range. This draft, I don't love past pick 12 right now. So it's a good year to suck.
We apparently haven't done a player profile on Taro Hirose. I can't. Again, I can't remember who we've done and who we haven't at this point because it's all been so piecework. Because as we got closer to the draft, we just got draft exclusive episodes, and I stupidly got rid of my notes where I was keeping track of what we did. But if we haven't done Taro Hirose, or if we have, we're going to do them again today. Someone asked about the outlook on Taro Hirose. So for this upcoming season, a little bit about the kind of player he is.
Are we counting him as our roster player preview or our prospect?
He's a roster player preview.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Who's our prospect after?
We're going to talk about Saryarvi. Even if we already have. I just want to talk a little bit.
We haven't talked about Saryarvi this year.
Okay. So Taro Hirose surprised people by being very effective out of the gate for Detroit. Mind you, this is an end-of-the-season audition. These games stopped mattering for the Red Wings a long time ago, et cetera, et cetera. So I wouldn't cemented that he's going to have that same kind of performance. But the reason why people are so excited, including us, is the way he performed wasn't due to fluke goals or, playing with extremely talented players. This was a guy that played a very intelligent game, made some very smart decisions on the ice, and showed some extremely skilled moves to set up plays for goals. He made the players around him look good, and he was an integral part of a lot of high performance plays. High hockey IQ from Taro Hirose, which is why on a team where there's not a lot of top end talent, he could slot in at that top 6 and actually look decent while doing it. And that's the expectation for him this year, is that he slots in that middle 6 lineup, makes the players around him better, whether he's playing with an aging veteran, Franz Nielsen or whatever, and he actually gets some production out of that line, or he ends up on a line full of young guns and is that piece in there where he can provide some talent and basically sufficient talent to keep the play going instead of just an applicator who would kill the play because he's, in the wrong spot or can't keep up or what have you.
You could have just done because he's just an applicator. We would have got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Hirose showed a lot of chemistry with Athanasiou towards the end of the year.
He did, yeah.
So I think Hirose has the inside track to get that second line winger spot right now with Athanasiou and then Nielsen and or Filppula. Probably Nielsen, that line. That line clicked. That'd be a passable second line this year. By NHL standards, it's not going to be good, but for a rebuilding team, it'll be good. It's basically, is he going to hold off Zadina for that right wing spot there? Because again, going back to the depth chart I mocked together, the Red Wings' right side is real bad because he's basically got to compete with Mantha's going to be on the top line right wing. That's not going to change. And then the next 4 right wingers are Hirose, Zadina, Rasmussen, Abdelkader.
What are we looking at right now?
This is you on the golf course. That's you. But just wait. So it's a pro tracer, and the guy shanks it, and then he throws his club, and it goes straight. And the tracer picks it up.
The trick is I shank right.
Oh, yeah.
I lined up 5 feet in front of like a driving range net, and
You miss it?
I missed it.
Oh, boy.
I went straight to the right. Something's wrong with me, man. I don't know. I don't know what
That's
it is.
golf. That's golf.
Yeah, Taro Hirose was a great pickup. Now, is Taro Hirose going to score 50 points?
Maybe.
I would be thoroughly surprised.
I wouldn't bet on it, but he was at that pace last year.
Yeah, again.
And opportunity is going to matter. Is he playing on the third line? Is he going to be playing on the second line? That's going to make a huge difference. Is he playing on the power play? Is he not? Also going to make a big difference. So circumstances is going to matter a lot with him. And if he earns those power play minutes and he earns those second line minutes, I think 45 points would be a good benchmark for him.
That'd be pretty darn good.
That should be your next jersey. You usually get the jersey of the Goons, but you could step up. This isn't like an all-star by any means, but you can get a talented player this time.
Hirose, and his number, he changed his number to be a Maple Leafs troll. So
69?
67.
People keep believing you when you say that.
Yeah, I know. They think that's actually the reason why he picked it. I don't know why he picked it, but I've made up my own reason, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. Who is your next meme jersey?
I have no idea.
Because you had Ott and
you don't get to pick. It just happens organically.
Right, yeah. That makes sense.
So Ryan, let's make our prediction.
Okay.
Who his next meme jersey is going to be.
Oh, based on the Red Wings lineup?
Yeah, who's it going to be?
There's so many candidates.
That's tough. It might be Madison Bowie, honestly. You know,
is the grit per 60 high enough? Do you think I think he caves to the Helm is elite jokes.
Yeah, that's the only. Actually, you're right. That's the only reasonable outlook because no one has the grit per 60 to really match up. So he has to kind of go out of the box. And Rowan and company might actually get to him.
Who am I taking?
Darren Helm.
Oh,
you might grab his jersey.
Does he have Twitter?
No.
Oh, then clearly
it's not very active.
Oh, so we're looking for actual interaction. Okay, who's the most active Red Wing on Twitter? Oh, it's not a meme pick anymore, but I could see Tyler Bertuzzi, something happening.
Oh, of course it's going to be Tyler Bertuzzi. You see the pictures of him partying this summer? I thought it was Evan for a second.
Could be one of the boys.
It was. Well, he is one of the boys.
True.
He's a leader of the boys.
Yeah. Someone on Reddit described the Red Wings as like they were talking about teams where you have a hard time hating them, like there's no real like dirty players. Someone brought up the Red Wings. I'm like, do you remember when you were all screaming for Bertuzzi to be crucified like 6 months ago?
Yeah, but we only have one.
Yeah, I mean Larkin was like had the 10th most penalty minutes in the league or something like that.
Yeah, but he's Dylan Larkin. You can't hate the Dungeon Master.
No. Vili Sarjärvi. I'm not going to talk about who he is as a player. I'm going to talk about what his career trajectory looks like. Showed a lot of promise 2-3 years ago. Thought maybe he could be what essentially Hronek is doing right now where he is in the lineup. Thought, a big year in Grand Rapids and he can step up. Has disappointed now almost 2 seasons in a row in terms of where he's been. A lot of that's been usage and a lot of that has been opportunity, but he has also been given the opportunity and has just not impressed. Now, it's not like the team's giving up on him so far, but at this point, his projection is looking downwards. It's looking just like this project didn't pan out. He's not exactly outpacing anybody ahead of him, which is kind of tough because there's not a lot of talent ahead of him. So in a draft where they just picked, however many defensemen, all of them they were basically home run swings saying if they pan out, they're going to pan out. Vili Sarjärvi's on his last legs as a pro with the Red Wings. He really, really has to blow everyone out of the water with probably limited opportunity this year. if it's not already a foregone conclusion, it's very likely that he's not going to, pan out for this team. It's unfortunate. It's not happy to think about considering the amount of raw talent he has, but it's been some time, and it would be surprising. Not impossible, because anyone with that amount of talent can turn it around, but it would be surprising if he did this season and then all of a sudden made a case to be a solid Red Wings player in the future.
Yeah, especially considering the Red Wings just went deep on right defense. In free agency in the draft over the last couple of years, because now when you're looking at long-term projections, he's going to be up against Lindstrom, Tasky, Hronik, Seider for spots. And am I betting on him to take full-time spots from any of them for the foreseeable future right now? No, I wouldn't be betting on it.
Tuomisto shoots left?
Nope.
Shoots right.
Shoots right.
Got it. That's their first second-round pick.
Yeah, complete right side defense depth chart real quick is Hronik, Green, Bowie, Daly, Kasky, Lindstrom, Sariarvi, Seider, Regula, Tuomisto, Barton, Holway, Berglund.
Jeez.
That's a lot of bodies.
That's a lot of bodies.
He is, he's got a real uphill battle. So he can't just be good in Grand Rapids this year. He quite honestly has to lead that crew in scoring by a comfortable margin because he's not going to get by on his defensive prowess. Mm-hmm. He's made himself a capable defender at the AHL level, which is great that he's at least made strides in that department, but that's not his thing as a player. He needs to be an offensive dynamo. So if he's not putting up north of 50 points in Grand Rapids this year, I don't see him sticking with the team.
Yeah.
Strikes me as a guy who's going to go back overseas at some point.
Did he come? Well, he came up through North America, right?
Yeah, he did. He played in the USHL and then played in the OHL and then Grand Rapids.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce to another organization. Same thing with Joe Hickett's.
Reclamation.
Under different circumstances, but yeah. Could another team could pick it up and say, at least this is depth for a AHL squad.
Yeah, and
that would be about it.
Yeah.
And actually, the one thing we didn't even talk about while talking about the depth chart is how the absolute glut of defensemen in North America right now basically almost assures Seider is going to Mannheim this year. Because where are you putting him? He absolutely would need to come here and just straight up steal a guy's job.
Yeah.
Because you're not just bumping a guy down the lineup. He literally is going to make Grand Rapids would have to send Sariarvi to Toledo or to another organization.
Yeah. And that's expected. We knew that, or we predicted as much when they drafted him. And not a certainty, but in all likelihood, he'll be there. And that's good. They went out and scouted Mannheim's program personally. And we've only heard excellent things about that German program over there since drafting Seider. So he's in good hands for the year. He'll be over soon enough. Some quick hits. There's a top 20 NHL centers list, and Larkin wasn't on it. And I looked at that list and I went, I have a hard time picking who you would take off in favor of Larkin.
We'll just assume he was number 21.
Do you see Robin Lehner's trophy the league gave him?
I saw it when I was hammered.
Yeah, it was the Jennings trophy that he won. It was the Jennings trophy, right?
Masterton, I believe.
Right, that makes sense. I don't know why I thought it was the Jennings. And it was addressed to Robin Lehner, New York Rangers.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. This league cannot do right by that guy.
What team does this guy play for? One of the New York ones.
It's New York. 50-50. Just throw whatever on there.
Yeah. Kevin Shattenkirk got signed by Tampa Bay, fulfilling the prophecy. I think that's a sneaky good pickup.
That guy is going to put up so many points this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a bounce back year for him. He's going to be the best value, $2 million, $1.2 million contract there is.
Well, he said he was rattled that he got bought out by the Rangers. So
yeah,
not only does he have a chip on his shoulder, so does Tampa.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that guy's going to Norris winner. Kevin Shattenkirk, hot take right here.
Oh, that is a hot take.
This is the hottest of
Where's
hot
the
take.
bell? Where's the bell?
We got rid of it for your hot takes.
Yeah, I think I'd throw up if you rang that thing right now.
$1.75 million. Honestly, even if you're not high on Kevin Shattenkirk, you have to pick him up for 1.75 if you're a team that's trying to compete. Absolutely.
He gets to live in Florida on a absolutely stacked team.
Yeah, that's absolutely
with no
fine.
income tax.
We are going to head over to Overtime, brought to us by our Patreon supporters, who are privy to things like our Patreon exclusive episodes, one of which we released last Wednesday, the one that we were talking about, where Brad and I did that best cap compliant roster mock draft. We do have some more episodes to come soon. We have some catching up to do. The draft in June didn't throw a wrench in things. That's how it goes around this time of year. But we are going to backtrack and make sure we catch up on every monthly Patreon exclusive episode. So thank you guys. And another bonus, their comments get read out on air guaranteed as our way of saying thank you for supporting the Winged Wheel podcast. Don Mitchell says, "What's good, boys? As of recording, I'll be in the LCA playing really bad hockey with really good people. Wish me luck. I even brought my patent pending, as seen on TV, not really, stay fresh cheese bag. God damn it, guys. I don't know why I brought it, but here we are. What's been the coolest and weirdest stadium giveaways you've received at a game? Coolest was the Lidstrom poster, like the Lidstrom number 5 poster I got.
That one right there?
Yes, that's the one.
Didn't they do the Gordie Howe one too? I like that one.
Which is right behind it.
Yes. Weirdest one that I got?
Right behind you.
What's that?
D-Boss.
Oh, yeah. The D-Boss ones are funny. I think the Winter Classic where they gave you those cushions because your butt would be so cold on the frozen bleachers of the big house. I mean, it was useful, but it was definitely weird.
I haven't really been privy to any truly weird ones yet. Any game I've been at, any sport.
He says, let's play some over-under with a cap specialist who killed it with their team in the Patreon episode, an unprepared host who swears a lot, and a hungover Evan. Did I swear a lot that episode?
Wow,
I think that was just on the Kevin LeBanc.
Oh, yeah. How was I supposed to... We decided 3 hours before. Simply gets the over-under for the upcoming season. Larkin goals, 30.5. Over or under?
Over.
30.5?
Yeah, so over or under?
Under.
Under. I have under.
I hate you both.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Mantha Games lost to injury. Over or under 14.5?
Under. He's got to get through one.
Without breaking his hand, yeah. I'll go under as well.
Under, yeah.
Athanasiou points, 64.5.
Under.
What was it? 60?
64.5.
Under.
I'm sorry, guys, but under. Times Ken Daniels will refer to Glendenning's face-off percentage. 3,103.5.
Over.
Per game? Over.
Yeah, over.
Over.
Games played for Zadina, 35.5.
Over.
I'll take the over.
I'll just say under. 'Cause no one else is.
Red Wings points in the standings, 68.5.
Over.
Over, because that's a really low bar.
Yeah.
That's like Ottawa levels of bad.
Yeah, I would put them closer to like 75 to 80, I think.
Yeah, depending how the roster shakes out, there's a reality in which I actually hate this year's roster less than last year's.
As always, you are killing it with the content, and thank you for filling the summer void left with no hockey season. Cheers, Don. Joseph D'Elia says, "Sup, boys? With Detroit most likely getting a top 5 pick or so in the next year's draft, and Cole Perfetti lighting it up right now, what's your go-to lunch meat? Ham, turkey, or roast beef?" Also going to try to go to the home opener in the meetup. I'll be the one wearing a Wings jersey. Good job, as always, keeping us entertained. P.S. I was screaming at Ryan to take LeBanc, but Brad won by a landslide. I know, the LeBanc... all right, go to lunch meat.
What were the options?
Ham, turkey, or roast beef.
So we're talking about like lunch meat for a sandwich?
Yeah.
That's roast beef.
I'm going to go ham because I love Italians cured ham.
Yeah, Italian ham. Like, we're going... The ham products are so much better. I'm actually...
Dude, you live near Vincenzo's.
Yes.
You can get a rare roast beef sandwich. And
You can also get amazing Italian hams at
Oh, they're
Vincenzo's.
so good. $5.99? Oh.
And they used to be $4.99. They raised them by $1, and I said thank you. That's how good they are.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Roast beef is fine. Turkey...
Fine, you blasphemer.
I think turkey is a prank played on us by I don't know who. It's not as good as people think it is.
Yeah, it's not even in my top 5.
It's fine. Turkey is fine. That was the meat you were looking to use that word on there, Ryan.
If turkey is fine, that's a good day for turkey in my mind. Bama Red Wings fan says a few this or that questions. 1, Android or Apple?
Apple, because I've been too lazy to change.
Android.
Apple, although that I don't know. Well, we're talking phones, I'll go Apple.
And I can't stress enough how little I care about this topic.
Xbox One or PlayStation?
What we own?
PC.
PlayStation.
Neither.
Beer or liquor? Beer.
Beer.
0, please.
Your favorite team and sport that you follow other than Detroit?
Buffalo Bills football.
I'm a big Detroit sports fan. Lions in the NFL or Liverpool in the EPL.
He said other sport, right? I can't say
Yeah.
Kitchener Rangers for junior hockey.
No, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Bills.
Oh, God. I guess the Blue Jays.
Favorite snack to eat watching the Wings play?
Bleach.
Hot wings.
Hot wings is a good one. Nachos is clutch, but nachos, you have to be somewhere. I just can't make good enough nachos at home.
No, there's something about like the amount of MSG they use in restaurant nachos.
Yeah, it's like
Have you ever had the Ethel's pulled pork nachos?
Yes, real good.
Yes,
Yeah, those are
100%.
Those are so good.
That place was rumored to close, and it didn't. And I'm very happy about that.
Okay, but on the hot wings, the important question here: drums or flats?
Okay,
I'm a flat guy. I do appreciate the drums, but I'm a flat guy.
that's exactly me. I
That
appreciate
is-
the drum.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah, flats is where it's at.
I think you get more meat with a flat.
You don't, yeah, because a
You
lot
get
of the
more
drum
better-
is
you get better
cartilage. Yeah,
True.
a lot of the drum is cartilage.
Yeah, you get the actual meat on the flats.
Keep up the good work, guys. And that was Marissa said, haha, I'm a hashtag trendsetter. K says, guys, I did it. I put my boat in and it works. Gonna do stuff on the water now. If you didn't see what Rowan said, it stands for bust out another 1,000. Oh, that makes sense.
boat's an acronym. Bring on another 1,000.
See, this is our resident, 1%er over here is the one who's supposed to be able to tell us that.
Man, the amount of my friends who have Sea-Doos, all they do is repair them.
Yeah.
Their Sea-Doos are always messed up.
We go to a cottage every...
Evan caught himself there. He's evolving.
He is. He's doing real great.
Yeah, it's a family show, everybody.
We go to a cottage every year, and my friend has a boat there, and he always reminds us, like, get your boating license, otherwise you can't drive the boat. I'm like, I have no interest in driving the damn boat. Are you kidding me?
I can't drink my beer if I'm driving the boat.
Exactly.
That's your problem.
Plop me on the floor if I have to go in the boat. That's fine. I'll sit on the lily pad otherwise. Anywho, what's the style of hockey you'd implement if you were coach of the Wings? East-west, pass only backwards, give up the puck every opportunity, dump and chase.
That's what we already do.
No,
High pressure. And I'm not talking just offensively. High pressure all over the ice. This team is not a team that's going to win most of their one-on-one battles given the depth of skill on the team, so they just need to swarm the puck at all points, and everything they do is high pace.
I know it's
Which Blashill kind of already does in some respects, so I'll give him that, but it just needs to be all or nothing.
a lot of this is a personnel thing. It's a weird example because they got swept, but Tampa Bay basically deployed a system where it was a possession game. They had their highest skilled players running the breakouts, and then they gave multiple options for every breakout. And that kind of system, to me, does do really well. You do have to be able to get around the Columbus who's going to adapt to you and not just try to stubbornly do the same thing 4 games.
You're
in a
way
row.
ahead of me here. You're assuming the Red Wings are going to have possession. I'm more worried about just getting the puck.
Hassam Al-Qassem says, so this is my first season playing ball hockey, and last week my team got our first point. A shootout loss. We're not 0-4-1. I'm very bad, but enjoying myself. Any advice?
Cardio. And practice. My ball hockey season just finished this week, so I'm completely checked out of that now, and it's back to ice. But
Brad's forehead vein is bulging, so I'll do this for you, Brad. Brad
What?
scored the overtime winner to win the championship for his ball hockey league. Yeah.
it was a big moment. When
When will you guys release the Shut Up Brad shirts? Okay, I'm working on something in the background regarding apparel. They're coming. I promise you that's one that's actually coming.
That joke's really died down over the last couple of years. Is it because they got bored of the joke, or
No, it's because they don't have shirts. We're going to give them shirts for it.
Okay.
I'll see you guys at the home opener. Definitely see you there. Rowan wants a couple of Shut Up Brad shirts. It's a good choice. Chris Canal says, boys, I have to make a correction to my OT question from last week. I meant to say, is there a way that a player not on an ELC to have their contract slide a year if they don't play 9 games? Oh,
No.
Also, would you be a fan of this rule if it was instituted?
no? Because we need to get out from most of those. If you don't want the guy on the roster and he's outside of an ELC, you want to get that contract over as soon as possible.
Do you guys have a preseason favorite draft prospect for Detroit that are not named Raymond or Lafreniere? I mean, yeah, Holtz or
Byfield right now? Yeah, Byfield right now.
Wouldn't hate Drysdale.
Drysdale's been growing on me. And again, depending where we pick, if we're picking outside of the top 5, I might take a real long, hard look at Askarov.
At the moment, I really like Cole Perfetti after he just tore up the Hlinka. It's going to be so entertaining to watch all the top-end prospects this year. Have a good one, as always, guys. Marissa says, more this or that. Apple juice or OJ? OJ.
Apple juice.
OJ.
OJ with pulp.
Oh, yeah.
You
I'm
monster.
a pulp guy.
Yeah, I love pulp.
Monsters.
Coke or Dr. Pepper?
Coke.
Coke.
Steak or ribs?
Steak.
Ribs.
Steak.
Really?
Ribs.
Ribs not far
All
behind.
day. I'm a pork guy.
You can get some really good sauces on with like even a good dry rub on ribs can make a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
I am steak. I have to admit, I'm not proud of this, but I ruined a couple steaks yesterday.
It's all part of the process.
Yeah, I am not proud of myself. I'm very angry. Mel told me a million times it's fine, it's okay. They still turned out all right, but they were thinner than I anticipated. The pan wasn't as hot as I wanted. I didn't get the crust I want. Anyways, jazz or country? Jazz.
Not country.
I'm gonna say not country is my answer. I don't have any particular fondness of jazz, but country is the worst.
Rock or rap?
Rock.
It's close.
3 Days Grace. Is that rock?
I don't know. I think that's
kidding.
alternative rap. Football or soccer?
Football.
Football by a hair.
I don't even know.
Books or movies? Honestly, there was a time in my life where I would have said books, but in the age of being tired, always movies. Just being able to sit in a cold, dark room and watch a good movie.
Over the years, I've become a movie snob, so I'm going to stick with that answer as well.
I don't even remember the last time I read a book.
Minty gum or fruity? I stopped during undergrad, and I'm forcing myself to start back up.
I think I just have terrible nightmares of reading in university. So
Yeah,
I just
it
don't
ruins you.
I read all the time before university. As soon as I got to university, haven't read a book since.
Okay, this is going to be a blasphemous answer that I know I'm going to get yelled at for. The main reason I much prefer movies is because I don't have the time for books.
No, but then no one has time for books.
Nobody does. And I don't, I can get through a movie in 2 hours, whereas if the equivalent book is going to take me a couple months to get through because I'll be reading it 5 minutes at a time.
Minty gum or fruity gum?
Depends on the purpose.
Minty.
I'm a mint guy.
Overcast day or sunny?
Sunny.
Sunny.
Overcast, better for golf.
Oh, yeah, you
son
nerd. Adam Flett says, morning all. Is this the longest summer on record? Can't remember what hockey looks like. It seems like it, eh? Depth chart chat. Do we have enough potential top 6 or 9 forwards? Quick answer, no.
Adequate forwards? No.
I can't remember who did a report last year grading teams' depth charts, but wondered if there was one out there worth a read. As I said, longest summer ever. Yeah, if you look at Dom's quality of contract charts, it's not the same, but it'll give you a good idea on who's an effective player right now. It's not black and white as to who's a good top 9 forward, because a player could be a good top 6 or top 9 forward who's just being paid too much. But it'll give you some a good foundation.
And if you're looking for optimism, don't.
Last thing, as the prospect tournament is around the corner, what lineups are you most hoping to see? What players are you excited about? For me, it's mostly Rasmussen. He's catching a lot of heat just now, and I just want him to turn that into fuel and show some great gains and improvements.
Is he able to play in that?
I'm not sure.
Because I was going to say because I know Hiroshi and Zadina are eligible, so I would love to see them flank Veleno in that tournament.
Yeah. I'm excited for every Red Wings top-end prospect. Anyways, hope all is well with Brad's pregnancy and Evan's hangover. Good luck, guys.
How did he know?
Oh, I put it in the episode.
Oh, okay.
It was the... hold on, I'll read out to you. Overtime thread, Evan's impending hangover edition. That's what I titled the Patreon post.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hope you know the creative license I take with your personal lives when I make these titles.
I'm very predictable these days.
You are. Rowan says, good day, Duds. Gonna be honest, I'm pretty hyped about the Wallabies beating the All Blacks on Saturday night.
Me too.
What did you think of the red card handed out? Boy, was it red.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
An atrocity to the sport.
Of what sport?
I have no idea. Rugby?
As the Rugby World Cup nears, there's no doubt about it. I'm fully on board and ready to get hurt again by the inevitable Wallabies failure, even though the game planning and execution in the last 2 test matches has been superb. Big rematch this next weekend in Auckland. Who you got? The Wallabies, of course.
Who else?
You ride that hype train until the end. Maybe you've covered this in your content, however, from what you've caught from the Hlinka, any surprises or thoughts on some of the players? Is Askarov a top 10 pick, for example? Excellent deduction, Rowan. That's exactly what we talked about. And seems like pretty firmly yes thus far.
I was going to say, I didn't catch enough of the other countries to really get a massive surprise player. If I had to pick a surprise player, I'll get Justin Surdif. Was better than I thought.
Jersey Time copped a bit of heat on the old Twitter machine about my stance against people actively buying fake jerseys. Anyways, it's a hill I'll die on for a number of reasons, however, we digress. Not sure we have done the W yet, so what are your favorite WHL jerseys? This is a tough one. There are some great ones out there. Make it
the-
top 3, no order.
The dub.
I would have to even think about the jerseys.
Yeah, it's going to take me a minute because there's a lot of good ones out west.
Brandon Weekends, do they play?
Yeah, theirs are good. I'm a fan of the Vancouver Giants. Everett Silvertips are good. There's more. I'm the Seattle Thunderbirds. I'm a sucker for the classic Whalers look.
The Wheat Kings, I don't like. Are they actually good jerseys, or are they just classic jerseys?
No, they got that middle bar now with the black and yellow. They're very similar to the Waterloo Wolves here, actually.
Seattle Thunderbirds is definitely in my top.
Yeah. I'm running through the rest of the teams right now in my head and
Trying to think of Red Deers.
Red Deers are all right. They're not
they're
anything
okay.
special.
I don't know. I'm gonna actually take a. I'm gonna wait on these ones because I need to make sure that I read through all of them because I actually can't think of them all.
I'm definitely forgetting some, but Seattle, Everett, Vancouver off the top of my head.
Let me see. Moose Jaw.
The Warriors, they're all right.
No, not a big fan of those. Can I keep going on his?
Saskatoons are pretty good.
Yeah, Saskatoons are pretty good.
They're not bad. I hated them at first, but they grew on me.
Remember, when you're buying authentic licensed jerseys, only use Stay Fresh cheese bags for shipping to keep your precious cargo safe and dry so it's minty fresh when you get it. Stay Fresh cheese bags, the Jersey snob's choice. Weirdos. Over to Reddit. Gordy, how you doing? Says, off-season terrible question incoming. Albin Grava is nicknamed the T-Rex. What other dinosaurs would you consider the other players to be?
Nicholas Cronwall, any of them.
He is a dinosaur.
Yes.
Larkin would be a velociraptor.
Yep, I can see that. Who else? What else?
Dude, who's a big lumbering one? Doesn't do much.
Jonathan Erickson is a Brachiosaurus.
That's kind of what I was thinking about.
Yep. What would Mantha be? There's got to be a good one for Mantha.
Triceratops. I don't know why. I just want to say Triceratops. Isn't that not even a real dinosaur?
It's a real dinosaur.
What's the one that flies?
Pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Athanasiu.
Yeah, Athanasiu is a pterodactyl.
Yeah, their names are pretty much spelled exactly the same, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, there's a silent P in Athanasiu as well.
Shout out to Bell's Beer Best Beer on Reddit. We've been Reddit buddies for a little while, and he just caught on that I was one of the hosts on the pod. Hey, man.
Oh.
Deathman6452 says, hey, fellas, it's been a minute since I've had time to comment. I still enjoy all the content you guys put out to try to get any Red Wings fan. And I try to get any Red Wings fan to give the pod a listen. Hey, thanks. We always appreciate when you guys do that. Like, if you want to support the show in other ways, get your Red Wings fan or hockey fan friends to listen.
Tell your friends, tell your family, call your mom. She misses you.
Hockey question: if you were the GM, would you ever peek at social media to see what fans think?
Absolutely not.
Do you think it has value, or do you think there's some valuable input? The only way I'd peek at social media is to see what experts who are not actively hired by teams think.
I would absolutely keep a track of social media, but I would only factor in their influence when it comes to, I'll call it vanity decisions, like retiring Fedorov's number, who the captain should be, is the coach falling out of favor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would, that kind of stuff, but when it came to roster decisions, I could care less what the fans say.
Random question: how many people is reasonable at a wedding? My lady wants 100. I want 40 to 50. Side note: we're paying for this ourselves.
Jeez,
Joke's on you. You want 50, you're getting 150, bud.
Me and my wife had to cut to get to 150.
So, I'm of Middle Eastern descent. I'm Chaldean.
Ryan's going to have 20,000 people.
Ryan's gonna have the city of Waterloo there.
Yeah. Mel and I were talking about this a while back. We went to a wedding where there was like a lot of people supposedly, and it was like 400.
Jesus.
Well, I said that to my mom after, and we both laughed. The minimum, if I have a wedding where I invite all the people that I'm traditionally supposed to invite, I'm clearing 700-800.
That is absurd.
I have 62 first cousins. 62 first cousins.
On my mom's side, I have 2.
I can't even think of 62 people I like.
If you add up all your cousins total, all of your cousins, that would add up to the number of my first cousins that I haven't even met.
Does that mean you get to go to their weddings, though?
I don't. It's kind of dying off after generation, but pretty much I'm the generation where, like, they all go to each other's weddings and then they give a ton of money. So I pretty much have to invite them to get my parents' investment back, and that's how you pay for that massive wedding. It's just you give an inordinate amount to those weddings, is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, all the money we got at our weddings went straight back into the bank account because we paid for our wedding our goddamn selves.
PM me, your spiciest says, off-season bullshit hypothetical time. Are there any rules in the CBA that specifically allow or disallow players to take much less than market value?
Nope, you can all, if you wanted to do a super team, you could absolutely do it, but there's no player in the right mind other than Kevin LeBanc who's ever going to agree to do that.
Screw you, Kevin LeBanc. The Players Association gets pissy when teams do it or when players do it. So and they'll get a lot of pressure to
But
not.
there's no rule against it.
Oh yeah, and then he asked about it. No, yeah, they could all take 1 year, $1 million deals. It's technically legal. There will be a big fuss kicked up. When Yzerman signed his $1 million extensions, teams weren't happy about that. Or the PA wasn't happy about that, I remember.
What are we, the NBA?
Yeah. Winged Squigger says, "How's it going, guys? I've since it's been a while. It's been a while since I've left a comment. I'll ask some random off-season questions. One, what is the best dessert? Ooh. Lemon-based anything or pavlovas / meringues?
Put a cheesecake in my mouth right now. I had 3 slices of cheesecake last night.
Yeah, showing, buddy.
I know.
Any cheesecake, any pie, not lemon-based. Apple is king.
I'm a big pecan tart guy, too.
Oh, butter tarts for the win.
I'm a butter tart guy. Too.
Maple tarts, underrated.
My boss makes butter tarts and brings them in. It's an addiction, for sure.
Butter tarts are like, you have them as a kid, you're like, how do these taste so good? And when you're an adult, you're like, oh, this is everything I should not be having.
Yeah.
Yes.
2, since I'm working all day at a summer camp, what's your most embarrassing childhood memory that you have?
Yeah, I'm going to say that on a podcast.
Yeah. I've always had a small bladder. And when I was a kid, there was a lot of traffic in the Windsor-Detroit tunnel once. That's why
Everybody
I hate
pisses
that.
their pants at some point, Ryan. Some more recently than others.
Rough night, Evan?
Could have been worse, to be honest.
And to answer his own questions, 1, it's either chocolate chip cookies or creme brulee, and 2, getting a small plastic boulder stuck up my nose when I was 3.
Is this Homer Simpson?
Time for Twitter questions. Lars Thorzel says, question 1, if you ever decided on a theme song, which tune would it be for the podcast? Mr. Dub Dubulina? I don't know what that is.
Can we use Arrested Development's intro?
Yeah, I think that would be a fun one. You guys tell us, what would your recommendation be for a podcast theme song?
How would it not be Malcolm in the Middles for us?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one,
I don't
too.
even remember that one.
Life is unfair.
Oh. What?
You're not the boss of me now. You're not the
Oh,
boss of me
yeah.
now.
Okay.
Question 2, how likely do you think we are to see trades out of Detroit before the season starts? And if you think we will, what's the most likely candidate?
I'll say Trevor Daley, most likely candidate.
Yeah, you're looking at, if it's going to be a trade, it's going to be shipping a defenseman out. How likely? I'd give it 25% right now. Cheers from Norway? Yeah, I accidentally said that once. Yeah, okay, so that's what we got for now, unless was there one that I had? Oh, Iserbaz says, now that Fenton and Chiarelli aren't in circulation, who's the GM that other GMs can phone in every day and prey upon? Jim Benning is the answer you want there.
As long as the Aquilinis are still the owners of the Canucks, yes. Or if you have a decent player who's making less than his cap hit, Ottawa and Pierre Dorian's your best bet then.
All right, so before we wrap up, some quick announcements for you guys. It is almost that time of year, very, very close to the home opener ticket giveaway. Our favorite giveaway of the year, where we give away 2 tickets to come see the Red Wings home opener with us, the host of the Winged Wheel podcast, on October 6th. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And remember, as always, there is a guaranteed winner from Patreon. And it's also open to everyone on Twitter. Patrons get a double dip on entries. So there's going to be 2 tickets given away. We're going to be drawing for that T-shirt giveaway soon. Lots else to be announced. Enjoy your summers. I would like to thank all of our Patreon supporters: Sky Carcass, Luke Johnson, Arjun Shanker, Don Mitchell, Clayton Van Dyken, Mike Reed, Langabeer, Matthew M. Rice, Sean Levine, Kalen Wood, Charlie Elkins, John Evans, Rob Thiel, Stan Olson, Ryan Lewis, Hannah Lee. Love you all. Thank you. We will see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockey Town Evan.